Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm doing something quirky in that I have mixed my pre-workout in my lemon water because it gives it a little bit of good flavor, and lemon water is naturally good for you, obviously. But anyways, today is shoulder day, and I'm excited for it. Now, obviously, it's not just shoulder day because we have to get to work, but there's also something else I've been thinking about. And it's not just my new hairstyle. I've been working on styling my hair and things like that because I think it's a little bit fun. And I think I know what I want to do with it now. Something more scrunched up and curly as opposed to just the middle part. I can pull off the middle part, I know, but my hair is a little too wavy for the idea I want it to be.
For naturally beautiful hair.
But that's okay. But that's not the main thing I've been contemplating about. I've been contemplating about the competition. But the reason why is not that I don't want to do it. It's more that with all the auditions I've been getting,
You're so money and you don't even know it.
That's what
I can't have that fake tan on me. And if I get an audition, I'm covered in that fake tan, or I get an audition, I get the role and I'm covered in fake tan, that can lose me for future prospects. You know what I mean? So that is something I've been thinking about a lot. I do still want to do it, and that's why I've been putting all this work and effort into this training. But got to think about the career here, ladies and gentlemen. However, when I think about it, I think initiating the competition mindset is what put me into that get better at training style. Because I was just kind of doing my thing with training over the years. But when I actually said, I have a competition I want to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get trained for it. I was in that very specific zone. But I need that discipline always, not just for training, but with everything else. When I have an actual goal in mind, and I think this can be a thing with everybody, once we have goals in mind, it makes us want to go above and beyond what we normally do. And that competition put a goal in my mind to victory and winning. Now, it's not just victory and winning for the competition for me, it's the victory and winning for myself in that training. To train hard, feel good, and never give up. That was an old saying my sensei used to tell me. To get bigger, to get stronger, to get more athletic, to get more aesthetic, always, not just for this competition. That is the goal. Where people will see me, they say, because when they saw me, it's like, yeah, he works out. But now it is for myself, or when people say, he doesn't just work out, he works out. And that's what this is all about, my friends. No longer just for the competition, because if it's only that one goal, if that's all you need, then if you succeed in that, then it tends to just fade away. I don't want that fire to fade. I want to keep moving. Because I felt the other day, because I remember saying to my acting coach, I want to be seen as one of the best actors they've ever seen. But that passion died off a little bit not too long ago. Not because I was just saying, oh, I'm giving up. No, I just felt it just kind of drifting out. Like I think not so much that I wasn't feeling that fire anymore. But now that I've come to realize it, that fire can never go away again. I'm going to keep pushing it. Like Static X says, you push it. You push it, you push it. But anyways, let's get to the gym.
Guilty pleasure games. Guilty pleasure games. What are some of my guilty pleasure games? Now, it's hard to define what a guilty pleasure is. I mean, it's really not, but if it's something you enjoyed, should you really feel guilty about it? Now I'm just trying to sound pseudo-intellectual, but anyway. One of my favorite guilty pleasure games is a game called Corpse Killer. Now, this is not some high quality piece of art. It's very basic, very simple, but I have a blast whenever I play it because It's that simplicity. It's that feeling where I get what you guys are trying to do, and you were trying to push the technology, maybe, but it didn't completely stick the landing. And outside of that, it has some goofy cutscenes, and that's part of the charm of the game. It's why it's one of my favorite games to play when I am sick. It's just a charming little piece of gaming history that kind of just came out during a time when they were trying to make CD gaming a thing before it was actually ready for it, with live action actors and things like that. Another good example of this is a game called Night Trap, which I just haven't played it yet, and I'm going to get to that, but I want that for Halloween because that just seems like the perfect Halloween party game. If you don't know what Night Trap is, it's one of those FMV games where you have to keep switching screens to try and track down where all the vampires are and stop them before they can entrap one of the girls at the party. And the most famous scene is the scene where they're all dancing and singing in the one room and the girl starts playing guitar on a tennis racket. I've seen the cutscenes for it already, so I already know how everything plays out, and it's just so charming and goofy. And it's not just that type of game either. There's a game I played recently, called Gungrave Gore, where it's not spectacular, but for one solid playthrough, it's charming and it is fun. It's almost like Devil May Cry, but with a lot of guns. And I had fun playing it. Sometimes you don't need high art. Sometimes you just need fun. So I am now back home from the gym right before I have to head out to work because, as we know, the grind doesn't stop, my friends. The grind doesn't stop. I'm making my protein shake here. So I'm hoping it tastes as good as it looks.
Some good fucking food.
It says 0 sugar muscle milk, or low calorie muscle milk, I'd say. And I've had this already before, so I already know what it's going to taste like. But I do enjoy it a lot. Is it as good as that Red Velvet one? The Red Velvet one was more of a meal replacement, I think, as opposed to like a post-workout protein shake. And that one was a lot more sweet. And I like that a lot, so I might get that again. But this was at a good price. And Muscle Milk is a reliable company, too, when it comes to their proteins. I always used to drink those every now and again. But I'm going to drink this. I'm going to quickly run to the grocery store so I can get some apples that I can snack on at work.
Some good fucking food.
And then get on the bounce, work for 8 hours in this scalding heat.
It doesn't matter.
Pray I don't get any sunburn, which I'm going to, but get my honest 8 hours of work in. I'll catch you guys later today. Peace. And I'm back from work, and you know whose birthday it is today? Or yesterday, if you're watching it now, or the day I'm uploading it. Today is Sonic the Hedgehog's birthday, that's right. And that's awesome. Sonic the Hedgehog, I already made a video about it with my roommate Andrew, but I'm a huge Sonic fan. And when it comes to Sonic, he has great games, great TV shows, great movies, which the Sonic the Hedgehog movies being great is actually kind of unbelievable. Now, this isn't all of it, but this is my Sonic the Hedgehog collection of sorts. This is just the stuff that I had that wasn't still packed up. But yeah, this is basically my Sonic the Hedgehog memorabilia. Not in the correct order because I wasn't going to grab all of them initially, but here they are. Anyway. Like I said, I already made an entire video about being a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, but what else can I say about him? One, he's my favorite video game character, and the one thing about being a Sonic fan is you have to be pretty self-aware too. Sonic has a weird mix of spectacular games, okay games, mediocre games, good enough games, and also really bad games. Now, unfortunately, my least favorite one is Sonic and the Secret Rings, because I just think the gameplay in that one is just borderline unplayable with the way the motion controls work. If it didn't have those motion controls, I probably would have loved that game. But because they need to have that endless runner type thing, and you had to control him with the Wii remote by going, and it barely functioned, that's what brought it down. And it's unfortunate because it did take a lot away from Sonic 06, which it's one of those things where it'd be a fantastic Sonic game if it was finished, but never got finished, and they never updated it either. Now, I'm hoping that one day they do a re-release and are like, here you go, it's actually done now. That'd be awesome. I know there's Project 06, but that's not official. I want something more official from them. Another remaster I would love to see is Sonic Unleashed. I have the PS3 version, and if you have the 360 version and you play it on the Xbox Series S or X is the disc drive version, so it'd be that one. It plays much more smoothly. They need to do a complete overhaul of this. Not complete overhaul, because I actually like all the gameplay. The speed sections are great, and I even enjoyed the werehog sections, even though technically it'd be a hedgewolf because were means human. In case you didn't know. But anyway, this is an overall really fun game, even with some of the moments where the game is kind of more cruel because of like the frame rate loves to drop when you're doing the high speed sections. Like once you get into the rhythm though, it's pretty good. But that hot dog vendor, if you try to 100% it, ooh, that's nasty. And then of course there's Sonic Generations, which I have on the 360, and where is there it is. Sonic and Shadow Generations. Now, which one do I prefer? Probably Sonic and Shadow Generations, because it has the Shadow game on it, and the Shadow game is awesome. I have Shadow the Hedgehog, but again, it's packed up. This is one of the most fun experiences with Shadow, or I think if they take the gameplay of the Shadow segments of this and put it into a full Sonic game, you're going to have one of the greatest games of all time, full send. I'm not making that up. Because they took a lot of inspiration from Sonic Frontiers with the overall design, and I think a fusion of the RPG open world with that type of gameplay, and if they do what they want to do originally with Sonic Adventure, where it's like an RPG, this is my dream Sonic game. Think about how they did with Mario Kart World, from what I've been seeing people playing it. You travel to each level, and then you experience that level, and then you come back to the open world, and you go to the next one. That, I think, would be spectacular. That's my dream Sonic game. But, of course, the in-between, you have to have fun stuff in there, too. You have to have fun side quests, have to have fun collectibles, all that stuff. That would be pinnacle Sonic game design. And, obviously, one of my favorite shows that come out in recent memory is Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom is really funny. It's really just dumb, deadpan humor, and that's why I like it, because that's the type of humor I have. It's definitely somewhere in my top 10 animated shows, at least when it comes to comedies. I'd have to rewatch Sonic Sat AM again, and then I'd have to watch through Sonic X. Probably the Japanese dub, because I heard the English dub is kind of weird. Even though I watched the English dub, I didn't mind it. But I genuinely think that... Wait, hold on. Okay, never mind. For some reason, my brain only saw Season 2, Volume 1, Season 2, Volume 2. I'm just like, wait a minute, I thought this was the complete show. But I read that wrong. It is the complete show, so that's good. And Sonic Sat AM, if you haven't watched that, I I don't know why they haven't brought Jaleel White into any of the Sonic movies yet. I know apparently he tried to audition for Sonic, but they said he couldn't because he already played him. But they haven't given him a cameo in these yet. That'd be awesome. That'd be a fun little Easter egg for the fans. Like, he's just somewhere in the background and Sonic says, "Why does your voice sound familiar?" And then he does the Sonic voice, or he mocks Sonic in his voice. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun little cameo. Truly, like, I think, and one thing I like about the Sonic movies also is you're seeing Sonic grow up, because he's supposed to be a little kid in this one, preteen in this, teenager in this, and you're seeing him actually grow up. And growing up with Sonic, it's nice to see a movie series where Sonic is actively getting older. I mean, he's not becoming an old man, obviously, but you see him getting more mature throughout the movies, and I think that's something that makes the game so special too, is that when it comes to Sonic, it is such an outlandish plot, but when it plays itself straight, that's when fans tend to love it. That's when fans love Sonic the most. Like, sure, there's some meta-era games we like, I mean, there's Colors, which is a lot of fun. There's Generations, which is really good too. But the self-aware stuff, fans are kind of in between on, if you know what I mean. Where it's like, okay, this was funny for like one game, but the fact that they kept doing it for a while was kind of underwhelming, because that's the thing we loved about Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. It's a little blue hedgehog, and even Sonic Unleashed, it's a little blue hedgehog fighting cosmic horrors behind human comprehension. In this one, he's fighting an ancient god that is taking revenge on Earth because of what a tribe did to his brothers. And in this one, it's about Sonic fighting, at first, his kind of evil doppelganger, who was created to be the ultimate life form. I mean, they explain it more as the games go on, but he's dealing with someone who's mad at the world because they took away what he loved. And then they join together in the end, spoilers, to save the world from even greater threat. And that's what makes the Sonic game so great. It's like, yeah, it's a game series about a little blue hedgehog, but the fact that they take these outlandish stories and make them compelling and play them straight. Obviously, like with the old school ones, you still get some pretty interesting story moments. And by the way, I do like Sonic Superstars. It's fun. At times it can be a little harder than it needs to be, but I overall did enjoy it. But in the original Sonic games, it's about Sonic trying to save the world from a mad scientist who's basically just destroying their planet, destroying nature. And then by the third game, they team up with Knuckles, and Knuckles was brainwashed by Dr. Robotnik to fight Sonic because Robotnik tricked Knuckles into thinking that Sonic and Tails were out to destroy the Master Emerald, which is meant to keep his island alive. And then in the end, they come together and then stop Robotnik. And it's the first introduction of a supersonic boss fight, which is my favorite part of every Sonic game because you always get the banger music. And by the way, yes, Sonic did have a Mario Party clone called Sonic Shuffle. Oh, why'd you guys miss the mark on this? This could have been really good, but the game is just really unfair. Like, if you think Mario Party is unfair, you haven't played this. This is brutal. Because it's all really random. But also the other thing about Sonic, and probably the thing that stands out the most, because it's like the thing that is the most consistently good, is the music. The music in Sonic games is normally a 10 out of 10 every single time. I mean, check this out. Sonic Adventure 2 has the most famous song in the series, Live and Learn. It's why you hear it at the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. However, if you ask me what my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog song is, it's going to be from Sonic Adventure, and it is this version's rendition of It Doesn't Matter. I almost live and learn again. This version of It Doesn't Matter, it's like a Sammy Hagar Van Halen song. You already know how much I love Sammy Hagar's Van Halen. It just brings me, maybe it's like this childlike sense of joy every time I listen to it, about never giving up, about always pushing forward. The more rock opera sound of it, just this a great song about it doesn't matter now what happens, I will never give up the fight. That just sticks in my head, and I get kind of emotional thinking about it, because whenever I'm going through like a hard time, I just can listen to that song. And the song's also on this version too, but this version here, it just has much more of an emotional impact. And same goes with I Want to Fly High, which is Tails' theme, which is about him growing stronger and more confident in himself. It's called I Will Believe in Myself for a Reason. I want to fly high so I can reach the highest of all the heavens. How he wants to be like Sonic, his hero. And that is kind of the one thing that really was a letdown about the meta era, not metal era, is them making Tails weak. Because Tails growing into the person or the fox, he was meant to be, was a huge, important character development for him. It kind of, that really didn't happen like as into the meta era, because I don't think that was a thing in Sonic Unleashed. And you could even see Tails growing even in his initial reveal with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The canon ending of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is you get all the Chaos Emeralds and then you fly off into the sunset. In the second ending, the non-canon ending, Tails saves Sonic. And you know what? I think that's a better ending, because it's showing, I think a good mixture would be like the Chaos Emeralds' strength wore off, and then Sonic starts falling, and then Tails comes to save him. To me, that's the canon ending, because it's showing Tails' growth. Just this scared little kid now helping someone save the world. And fun fact, Amy predates Tails in the canon. Also, did you know, Victor predates a lot of people, because there's promotional images or production images, I forget what they're called, of Sonic the Hedgehog when Sonic was in a band, and Victor the alligator, dang it, I'm thinking of Vector Man, is there. He was one of Sonic's original friends, and then they brought him back in Sonic Heroes, Knuckles Chaotix. And Sonic Mania, I don't have a physical copy of that one, but given that, there's just this joy to Sonic the Hedgehog. And I think a lot of that comes to his character. No matter what, he is going to fight for what is good, and that's what's important. He's going to fight for those who are struggling. And like with Shadow, he wasn't going to give up on him. And I hope the movies continue to be as good as they are now, if not better. I mean, 3 is going to be a tough act to follow. And with 4, I want to see them fight a giant monster again. Because that was the one thing I can say about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is I wish they fought the Bio Lizard at the end. That would have been really cool. Where the space cannon doesn't work. But Gerald said I had one more plan this whole time, and then you see the Bio-Lizard show up in the middle of the city, and then Sonic and Shadow have to save the city. That would have been awesome. But what we got was still spectacular to see, especially in the theater, and hearing that that moment. It takes you to being 5 years old again. It really does. And like I said, even with a bad Sonic game, if you're a Sonic fan, you're gonna have fun with it because you get to laugh about it with other Sonic fans. And yeah, that initial Sonic movie design, if they went with that probably would have completely destroyed the Sonic series forever. But the fact that they were willing to listen to the fans and correct it, because honestly, this is the perfect movie Sonic design. I mean, of course, he's getting older, so the look is changing a little bit, but for a movie, live action, this is perfection. There will never be a better looking, in my opinion, video game to movie look than this. The Super Mario Brothers movie was fun, by the way. I'm one of the few who actually adores the 90s one. I think that's a genuine masterpiece. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I think I'm afraid to say it. But Sonic the Hedgehog, absolutely my favorite video game character of all time. Starring in some of my favorite video games of all time. Like, if I were to write down all of my favorite video games, the thing would be kind of difficult for me to come to a conclusion of. I mean, when it comes to the Sonic game, because if I'm doing one game per franchise like I like to do, I'd probably have to cheat and like put a bunch together. I don't like doing that, but you know what? It'd be mindless, so I can do whatever I want. I wish I had my Sonic Heroes somewhere. I know it's one of the boxes, which is going to be annoying to find. It's either in one of the boxes I never unpacked, or it's in storage, and I don't want to deal with looking for that. But to have my complete Sonic the Hedgehog collection together would be nice. But if you were putting a gun to my head right now and ask me what's my favorite Sonic game, I'd probably say Adventure 2, because just the memories. It's going to be tough because I love Sonic Frontiers, especially the soundtrack. That had a metalcore soundtrack, and I was not expecting that. And sometimes it is just a tie between 1 and 2. Sonic Unleashed is really good, but they need to do an updated version of it and fix the frame rate, and as far as I'm concerned. Because it's still a really fun game. And here's the thing, I also don't hate Forces. I also don't hate Lost Worlds. I still need to play the Black Knight though, because that one I saw the clip where Sonic is turning into Super Knight Sonic when it's like he has the Knight shielding on him. Sonic the Hedgehog. Happy birthday, Sonic. And yes, Sonic is the poultrygeist of video game characters.